When mackerels migrate in the night, you better watch out. That was my grandma's last words. So Colin, I'm sorry. I can't join you today in Norwich doing poetry. You can perform on your own. You have my deepest condolences. I'll be by the window for you, counting the mackerels that pass by.
It's okay, Farrell, or no sweat. I like reading alone. You wanted to write about fish, but you mentioned grandmas, and they're my favourite topic. Well, mine is anyway. I visit my gran every Saturday. She tried to pair me up with her hairdresser when I busted out a 15-year relationship. But her hairdresser was engaged already. We walk each week around Linlithgow Loch and follow the progress of the swans. She gave me a picture of a swan for Christmas. Am I close enough to fish yet? People fish in that loch, but it has a weird problem with blue algae, and so they tell you to put the fish back because they might poison you. Maybe algae isn't the problem, I sometimes say to my gran.
My gran was a fish. By that, I don't mean no metaphor. She was a damn fish in the loch. Hooked so many times by men, always released. They were just having fun. She went by the name Scarface, with all the damage, wound, hurt, on her lips, cheeks, eyes. Yes, she was ugly. But at some moments, I recall she was beautiful. She shit a glittering fat blue shit, which men consider algae.
I need to call my mom. I have this strange thing going on with my eye. I don't know if you can see. It's like a red mark that's on the lid and underneath. It's been like that for a month. I don't necessarily think that I'm turning into a fish. I'm not really convinced I'm not doing that. I once did a poetry performance about a merman, and then another time I did another poetry performance, again about a merman, and for that one I bought a merman's tail on eBay. I sold it on eBay, not for profit, if that means anything.
Well, I don't know if it's the algae you had last night, or the merman's tail you stole, but you should go out on a trip, Colin. They're after you, for your scale, meat, pub, whatever it is. I can see it from my window. The mackerel men are after you. Fishing rods, fishing nets, furious boats. They want me so badly. Again, I'm sorry I can't be with you at this high moment in your life. But feel free to ring me on WhatsApp. You have my number.
Back on the mackerel peril, like a souse herring in a Dutch painting, almost said uncle. Gills, any approximation of gills and scales and shimmers. Heavy. Don't believe it's not nature. Don't believe it's not poetry. Only believe it's not butter. I want my skin to be silver, and my neck to open up, all glistening and darling like nobody's business, cut into little keys, an electric Yamaha, ready to chew, about to fall apart. And if it fell apart, then you'd get a tiny bone through your tongue. But chill. There's an enormous hunk of cheese for you to put your elbow on, or for you to balance another enormous hunk of cheese, or a slightly smaller plunk of cheese like a leg. You could stretch your calves on these truckles. You could water ski in a wetsuit.
A pit full of water. Well, it doesn't matter if we are in the ocean, water skiing, or a stormy fishing vessel, chilling on ice at Morrison's under fluorescent light, on heated frying pan with shimmering butter, in a baking pan in oven with soft melting cheese. The weather's so nice here in Norwich today. Our calves are stretched out, bodies flat open, gills craving for water. I cannot breathe. Mind dispersing at the speed of light. Bioluminescence. We are bioluminescence, are we? Let's get out from this window. Fly in the sky like all Yamaha fish do. Stare at humanity. Stare at humanity.
Next to our dangling feet, our dangling breath. If you want my honest opinion, no, the world is screwed, for want of a better word. It's like all the fish just melted. Like if you imagine flesh is butter, and butter is flesh. Or if you imagine an ice sculpture, like all the fish pulled over off the motorway at the same time to pee. And at the side of the road there were discarded car mats, and all the fish pee soaked into them. It caused a hazy sheen that a toxicologist could have a field day, a field week with. So it's goodbye from us, and yelp, and gurgle, and keel over, floating to the surface with FOMO. An extreme case of FOMO.
Thank you.